I'd like to consider myself a fair man, an honest man, and sometimes a funny man. The only thing I can correlate between that and what I have in the middle of the screen here is that this is absolutely hilarious, okay? Liz Cheney has a negative percent chance of getting reelected in 2022 to the House. I mean, anybody who could be hoodwinked into contributing, $5,800 to be a co-host for a virtual event hosted by Paul Ryan should honestly have power of attorney or something wrestled away from them, because they are not fit for anything other than a custom helmet, I suppose. Like, this is such an open and honest grift. It's like, okay, yeah, pay us money and we're gonna start our cash-in process a couple years early. You can spend all the money you want in Wyoming. They are hardcore freedom-loving American first people, and bringing out the big guns, and you think that Paul Ryan is going to make you more popular? This is just such an open and honest grift. There are very few comparable examples. And on a money front, no, they're doing it big. They're doing it right. And when it comes to just buying up voters, it's literally not possible in Wyoming. But Biden's trying to do the exact same thing by importing new voters, so he doesn't have to run these virtual events that are several $1,000s a plate. No, he's just openly letting in immigrants across the border without being tested. Fuck it, just come on in. Jose, Jorge, Ava, bring them all. Who cares? And just remember to sign up for your same-day voter registration come next fall, because Joe Biden's DHS frees at least 800 border crossers into the United States in 4 days. They're not supposed to be doing that, so where's the federal courts stepping in? Yeah, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. I think we can all remember what happened a few months ago. President Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security has released at least more than 800 border crossers into the United States in the last 4 days. First 4 days of March, the Custom and Border Protection CBP agency released about 814 border crossers into the United States interior, an average of about 204 releases every day this month, according to the data. Thank you for doing some simple division. The bulk of these were going to be released in Brownsville, Texas, Yuma, Arizona, and Kingsville, Texas. So they aren't making them go very far, at least. The releases are only a portion of the total border crossers being released, as the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency also releases border crossers on a daily basis into the United States interior. Yes, they do. These are just the ones that Breitbart can confirm. ICE officials have not provided Breitbart with an updated total of the releases for the month of February or the first week of March. In February, the data showed that CBP releases about 1,900 border crossers into the United States, which is a daily average of about 69 releases every day that month. In comparison, the totals show massive influxes compared to when President Trump was in office, obviously, before Biden ended the Remain in Mexico program. Fucking stupid. And reinstating catch and release, because that's Biden's favorite game to play with grade schoolers, and canceled cooperative asylum agreements with Central America. And he's taken a righteous amount of shit for it. Okay? The White House, I guess. You can't really pin anything on Biden because he's, such a political chameleon that you don't really know where he is at any point in time, because who knows if he's over here at one point or if he's across the room. But if there's a ball pit within walking distance, you probably have a fairly decent idea of where he's going to turn up. But leave it to the leader of the opposition to speak up and call out old Sleepy Joe. Normally, this would be the responsibility of the Senate majority and minority leader, whoever's the leader in the Senate for the GOP or in the House, but expecting Kevin McCarthy or Mitch McConnell to find a backbone is about as likely as Kamala Harris developing a new promotion skill other than sucking the chrome off a doorknob. Trump criticizes Biden as border crisis escalates. Yes, sir. Former President Donald Trump excoriated President Joe Biden on Friday over the worsening crisis at the southern border, calling his successor's leadership disastrous. That's about the nicest way he could have put it. I'm sure he had a long list of descriptors, but disastrous was probably the most presidential option. Our border is now totally out of control thanks to the disastrous leadership of Joe Biden.
well, if he's the one pulling the strings, I don't know. He's probably asleep and Kamala's over there making all the decisions anyway, so maybe I should just call her out by name.
Our great Border Patrol and ICE agents have been disrespected, demeaned, and mocked by the Biden administration. Not as badly as the National Guard. They've been forced to stay in parking garages, but we'll get to them at a later date. Trump added, referring to the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agency. You don't say. A mass incursion into the country by people who should not be here is happening on an hourly basis, getting worse by the minute. Many have criminal records, and many others have and are spreading COVID.
The China virus, okay, people? It came from China.
Trump issued that statement as Biden's administration struggles to contain a deepening crisis at the border, which they caused. Could just, finish the wall. You could just let the practices and all of the ideas that the Trump administration had, and you wouldn't have that on your hand. But you want to install a new voting base. I understand. Just try not to make it so naked of a plan as you are right now, honestly. The latest in illegal alien influx was triggered by undoing of several key Trump immigration policies designed to discourage border crossings. We don't take our advice or counsel from the former president on immigration policy, which was not only inhumane but ineffective over the last 4 years. We will chart our own path forward, including treating children with humanity and respect and ensuring their safety where they cross our borders, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki cuntily told reporters on Friday. Because that's all she's good for. She's an insufferable woman. She brings nothing to the table. She's not a good orator. She isn't likable. She doesn't answer any questions. And the ones that she doesn't get to the heart of the question. Instead, she just demeans whoever asks the question. But she'll be kept around in perpetuity because that is the job, I guess, that Biden wants her to fulfill. Never answering anything and never forcing him to do anything. So just the perfect assignment, I suppose. No, but Trump's right. I know, shocker. There's a problem at the border. And if you think 800 people over the first 4 days of March is bad, just wait until the rest of that caravan. Wait for amnesty to come through the House and the Senate for 11 million or potentially a lot more illegal aliens to come through as well. But Psaki's not going to give him a straight answer. Obviously not. Maybe Biden will. But at the same time, he hasn't done a State of the Union address. He hasn't addressed Congress. He hasn't addressed the Senate. He hasn't even done a solo press conference since he's taken office. I think the last public speech that he gave on his own was his inauguration speech. He's really putting to bed that thought that he's just a puppet candidate and everybody else is just running around in the shadows actually running the government. But don't worry. There was another question that was asked at this press conference, and we got a concrete answer on this one. And by concrete, I mean something that they are totally going to walk back very, very shortly. But Biden will have a press conference, probably by the end of the month or something. It's March 5th. What are the bets that it's just going to get pushed off to an Easter address or something like that? Something easy, something softball-y where he can have, I don't know, bunnies on his socks, and maybe to cover up his dementia you could do like the Don Corleone thing where instead of he puts a orange in his mouth, he can put a couple of Easter eggs and just, whoa, come on, man. Do something fun for the kids, get a little laugh and it'll get you some good coverage. It'll deflect from the fact that you're letting in every MS-13 boy that can get to the border. President Joe Biden will be holding his first press conference as president by the end of March, the White House said Friday. Cool. Pressed on why Biden has not held a press conference yet, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said, "Don't worry, we appointed somebody who's a female." No, she said he does answer questions several times a week. From who? When do they allow him to? There's the viral clip out there right now where he was giving a couched speech, address, some kind of a conference, and when it was opened up to the floor to ask any questions, it was immediately cut off. So they're not allowing, I don't even know who they is in this scenario, just not allowing Joe to go off script, because every time that he does, we played the clips when he, stumbled over a couple of lines of his speech and he dropped the hard R gamer word. And then if nothing's on a teleprompter and he has to read off of notes, he just, oh God, what am I doing here? He'll eventually get held to task. I just don't know when that's going to be, because there's not the fifth estate right now doing anything to press back on him, and it's not likely anybody's going to hold him to account anyways. He'll just stay in his walled-off fortress, not having to take responsibility for anything. Just like his former boss, Obama, used to blame everything on Bush. Biden will have the get-out-of-jail-free card of Orange Man Bad, and everything will be alright. But speaking of that castle he has erected, we got some developments on that as well, so that's going to be the next video, guys. There's holes in the fence down at the southern border, but there isn't any, and there aren't going to be any for a very long time around the Capitol. That raises some questions, and we're looking for answers. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.